So welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Daily News in Shorts. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's current affairs in a short span of time. Now, needless to say this, you have to revise this lecture just after watching it. Because if you'll just watch this lecture, well, these current affairs would quickly skip your mind, skip your memory. So you have to solidify them in your memory by revising these current affairs. Now, you can revise these current affairs from the notes provided by us, and these notes shall be shared on our Telegram channel. The link to our Telegram channel is provided in the comment section below. So do check that out. The revision is extremely important. Alright then, enough of the introduction. Let's straight away jump into the lecture. But first, let's take a look at the list of topics that we shall cover today. So let's begin. So daily current affairs, 15th November, Saturday, and here is the topics list. So, number 1 is Janjatiya Gaurav Diwas. 15th November every year is celebrated as Janjatiya Gaurav Diwas. Why? Because it is the birth anniversary of Birsa Munda, a very tall tribal leader during British times who fought against the British also. And this year, 2025, was his 150th birth anniversary as well. So this year's Janjatiya Gaurav Diwas is even more special. Okay, so we'll talk about Birsa Munda. Okay. Then the second topic is related to ammonium nitrate explosives. You all know what happened in Delhi. You all know what happened in Jammu and Kashmir also. Okay, a lot of ammonium nitrate based explosives were caught. There was a big plan by the terrorists, but that plan was foiled. Yet there were some casualties, and that is really unfortunate. But what is important for us? To know the science behind these explosives. And for that, we need to know what is this ammonium nitrate chemical that is the first choice for terrorists while making explosives because it is so easily available. So we'll talk about ammonium nitrate. Then the third topic is related to India's defense preparedness, which is autonomous underwater vehicles. These are underwater drones. Okay. So recently DRDO tested some of them and the tests were successful. So we'll talk about this AUVs. And in the end, we'll talk about Lake Turkana of East Africa. Because there is a link between drying up of Lake Turkana and earthquakes in the East African region. Okay, so it is very important. So topic number 1 is related to, well, culture portion of your UPSC syllabus. Topic number 2, science and technology portion of your UPSC syllabus. Topic number 3, again science and technology. And topic number 4 is clear-cut core geography portion of your UPSC syllabus. So these are the 4 news items. We will discuss them one by one. So let's start with topic number 1, and that is Janjatiya Gaurav Diwas. So if you have been studying, well, modern history, you know that many tribals rose up in arms against the British rule because they were not happy with the exploitative nature of the colonial rule. Now, one such tribal revolt was the Munda rebellion, Munda Ulgula, Munda revolt, okay? And its leader was Birsa Munda. Now, Birsa Munda fought against the British, was caught, and he died later, okay, at a very young age. But his status among the tribals of that area is legendary, okay? And that is why his birth anniversary every year is celebrated as Janjatiya Gaurav Diwas, okay? Janjatiya means tribals, Gaurav means dignity, okay? And Diwas means day. So it's National Dignity Day for tribals, okay? His birth anniversary is celebrated. Now, the thing is that this year was the 150th birth anniversary, so this year is even more special for fans or followers of Birsa Munda, okay? Plus for UPSC aspirants also, because this year there is a good chance that they might ask a question on Birsa Munda and his historical rule. So we will focus on that. So let's begin with Janjatiya Gaurav Diwas, okay? So what was in the news? So Prime Minister Narendra Modi took to X, Twitter, on Saturday to greet the people of Jharkhand on the state's 25th Foundation Day. By the way, Jharkhand, the state of Jharkhand, was also separated out of the state of Bihar on this day. So 15th November every year is also celebrated as Jharkhand Foundation Day. And in Jharkhand, there is this plateau called Chota Nagpur Plateau. And most Mundas are from this region. Birsa Munda was from this region. Okay. So the occasion, 15th November is the occasion of Jharkhand Foundation Day. It is also the occasion of Janjatiya Gaurav Diwas, Tribal Dignity Day. Okay. Now remember these 2 facts, 15th November, Jharkhand Foundation Day and Janjatiya Gaurav Diwas. Now, about Birsa Munda. Okay. So first let's talk about his life. So Birsa Munda, 1875 to 1900. So you can see over here, he died pretty young. Okay, was a legendary tribal freedom fighter, social reformer, and charismatic leader of the Munda tribe. Okay, born in this village in present-day Khunti district of Jharkhand, located in Chota Nagpur Plateau. Okay, he is revered as Bhagwan Birsa Munda or Dharti Aba. That means father of the earth, because he worked a lot for protecting forests, saving forests, tribal community and all. Okay, so these are the names attributed to him. The reason why he's called Bhagwan Birsa Munda, because he also started his own sect. Okay, whose leader was Birsa Munda himself. So that is why he has a legendary divine status. Okay, and he died very young at the age of 25. So he has done something significant for Munda tribals. Okay, now certain important facts about Birsa Munda. So he founded his own socio-religious sect called Birsait, becoming a spiritual leader, hence Bhagwan Birsa Munda. Okay, he was a gifted musician, played the flute and tuila, and was an active participant in village akhada dances. Died very young at the age of 25. Okay, in Ranchi jail, yet the rebellion led to the landmark Chota Nagpur, Tennessee Act, because he led the rebellion against the colonial masters and their subordinates. Okay, and the rebellion was because of the exploitative nature of land revenue system. Now his rebellion was so successful, though he died himself, but it was so successful that the British had to give some concession to Munda tribals in that area, and that concession was Chota Nagpur Tennessee Act, which protected tribal land rights. Okay, now as far as his contributions to freedom struggle are concerned, they are as following. So the great revolt by Birsa Munda, known as Munda Ulgula or Munda Rebellion, against British oppression, land alienation, forced labor, and missionary interference. He was against Christian missionary interference also. Okay, because Christian missionaries were very active in these tribal areas, converting people to Christianity. Oppressive system, fought against the destruction of Mundari Khunkati, traditional land revenue system, and the rise of exploitative Thekedars. These Thekedars were the intermediaries which would collect revenue on behalf of British. Okay, he mobilized other tribals also. So he was not just a Munda leader. He mobilized Orao, Munda, Khadia tribes to fight for land rights and self-rule. He led many social reforms also. Okay, so he was a social reformer as well, not just a freedom fighter. Like anti-alcoholism, rejection of superstition, emphasis on hygiene and cultural revival. He also gave a slogan, very popular slogan among Munda tribals. Abu Raj Setar Jan, Maharani Raj Tundo Jana, end the Queen's rule and establish our own rule, self-rule. And his style of struggle was violent, guerrilla warfare against the British. And it was pretty successful for quite some time. Okay, so this is all you need to know about Birsa Munda. And on his birth anniversary, 15th November, we celebrate Janjatiya Gaurav Diwas, that means Tribal Dignity Day. And this is also the occasion of Jharkhand's foundation. All right, remember these facts. Okay, now let's quickly shift our focus to second news item, and that is ammonium nitrate explosives. You all know what happened in the capital. Okay, there was this blast which basically claimed the lives of 12-13 people. But experts say that intelligence agencies intercepted this terrorist plot midway. Okay, the plan was even grander, even bigger, and they wanted to do more damage, but it was stopped by our security agencies. Okay, now a lot of ammonium nitrate and other explosives were caught. Okay, that's why this plan of terrorists was foiled in between. Okay, but well, we need to know about this explosive, ammonium nitrate. And why did terrorists choose ammonium nitrate? Well, one reason is it is very easily available. Now, why is ammonium nitrate easily available in India, in the market, despite it being a very potent explosive? Okay, so we need to know about ammonium nitrate. So let's talk about it. Okay, so ammonium nitrate explosives. So why were these explosives in the news? Massive explosion at the Naugam police station in Srinagar occurred when seized explosives. These explosives were seized and they were kept in a police station. They went off and claimed the lives of, well, 9 people. Okay. Now, about ammonium nitrate. So it is a white crystalline compound widely used as a fertilizer and a key ingredient in industrial and improvised explosives. Okay. So it is used as a fertilizer. The reason why it is easily available is because it is used as a fertilizer by farmers. Okay. Plus, it is also used as an industrial explosive. What do you mean by industrial explosive? There are many mining companies who have to do these controlled blasts so that they can recover minerals from that mine. So they use explosives like ammonium nitrate. But if it can explode for mining companies, it can definitely be improvised to explode in these devices like bombs. Okay, so this is what ammonium nitrate is. Now, it is a strong oxidizer, does not burn alone, but greatly accelerates combustion, explodes with other materials. The biggest advantage of ammonium nitrate for fertilizer use is it is highly soluble in water. Okay, so you sometimes mix it in water and then spray it on your fields. Okay, thermally unstable, can undergo decomposition at high temperatures, melting point 170 degrees Celsius, leading to violent explosions. Okay. Now, ammonium nitrate, though used as a fertilizer, is classified as an explosive under Explosives Act 1884. So, if there is a fertilizer that has less than 45% of ammonium nitrate, then it is freely available in the market for farmers. But if any chemical has more than 45% of ammonium nitrate, then that surely means that this is going to be used for explosion only. So, government restricts those chemicals which have more than 45% of ammonium nitrate as per Explosives Act. Okay, remember this fact. Now, as far as the applications of ammonium nitrate are concerned, well, number one application is agriculture. Okay, and what application is there in agriculture? Fertilizer. Okay, then it is used in industries also as an industrial explosive. But antisocial elements can use it in IED. IED stands for improvised explosive devices. Okay, IED. So you use ammonium nitrate, you improvise something on it. Okay, you basically improvise how? You basically create a bomb out of it. This is known as IED, improvised explosive devices, and that's what terrorists were using. Okay. Now, other applications apart from agriculture and industries, other applications of IEDs are they're used in rocket propellants, instant cold packs, medicine also, nitrous oxide to produce nitrous oxide, which is a laughing gas, and chemical synthesis in chemical production. Okay, so these are some of the other applications of ammonium nitrate, and that's all you need to know as far as ammonium nitrate is concerned. Okay, now let's quickly shift our focus to third news item, and that is autonomous underwater vehicles. Okay, so you all know about drones. Drones fly in the air. Okay, now for underwater operations, for naval operations, there are also drones. But drones are operated through a remote control. What if these drones or these underwater drones are autonomous? In a sense, they are powered by AI. If they are powered by AI, you don't need to remote control them. Okay, these are known as autonomous underwater vehicles, and if any army has them, any navy has them, their naval capabilities are significantly enhanced. Now, recently DRDO developed some autonomous underwater vehicles. This would not just enhance India's naval capabilities. The big thing is that India produced this on its own. So it's good news for Atmanirbharta in defense. Okay, so let's talk about this defense upgrade by DRDO. Okay, so autonomous underwater vehicles. What was in the news? So DRDO has successfully developed a new generation man portable. So it's very light in design. So a man can also carry it and well launch it from any boat. Okay, so man portable means it's light. It can be launched from anywhere. Man portable autonomous underwater vehicle. So short form is MPAUV. Designed for mine countermeasure missions. Okay, there are sea mines which are laid by enemies to destroy ships, submarines. So these underwater vehicles can be, well, first they can be deployed in any sea, check if there are any mines, and then after finding out that there are no mines, then you can bring in your submarines and aircraft carriers. You understand? The system created by Naval Science and Technology Laboratory in Visakhapatnam, which is affiliated to DRDO. Okay. Now, about AUVs, it is a self-propelled, okay, untethered, pre-programmed robotic submarine. So you don't need a remote controller. that operates without real-time human control. Okay, AUVs are a type of unmanned underwater vehicles. So these unmanned underwater vehicles are underwater drones. Okay, but these underwater drones are remote controlled. So there are two types of things. There are two types of underwater drones. Okay, UUVs, unmanned underwater vehicles. Okay, they are, I mean, there is no one sitting in these underwater vehicles, but it is remotely operated. Then if you're not even remotely operating it, then it is autonomous underwater vehicles. So India has UUVs. We have developed AUVs as well. Okay. Now these AUVs can be used in scientific research, commercial industries, and basically military operations. Okay. Now, key features of this MPUAV AUV, developed by DRDO. So it is a multi-AUV system. So you can launch 5, 10 AUVs and they can communicate with each other. Okay. It is AI driven target recognition. It is AI driven. It has side scan sonar and underwater cameras for high resolution images. It is man portable and lightweight for design for quick launch. And it has acoustic communication capability, which is, this acoustic communication is very important if you are communicating underwater. Okay. So it has good communication capability as well. Okay. What is the significance? First, India's naval mine warfare capability gets enhanced. It reduces risk to personnel, because if you're not able to intercept mines, there will be casualties if one of these mines explode. And well, Atmanirbharta in defense. All right, that's about it. That's all you need to know. Now let's quickly shift our focus to last news item, and that is Lake Turkana of East Africa. Okay. Now, East Africa contains countries like Kenya, Ethiopia, Somalia. Okay. Now, this East Africa, the tectonic plate on which this East Africa lies, is basically splitting. That is the reason why there is East Africa Rift Valley. The tectonic plate is splitting from between. Okay. Now, when this split happened, there were certain depressions that were formed, and in those depressions, water got filled and created lakes. One such lake is Lake Turkana. Now, the thing is, whenever there is a split in a tectonic plate, that area is prone to earthquakes, because these two components of one plate that got split, they will collide with each other, or they will separate from each other, right? Once they'll separate from each other, they will brush past each other, and that would lead to seismic activity, earthquakes. Now, what has recently been discovered by scientists and researchers? They have said that Lake Turkana is drying up. Now, before this drying up activity, Lake Turkana was full of water. Now, water has some pressure. Now, when this lake was drying up, the amount of water held by this lake got reduced. So, the water pressure, the weight of water also got reduced. So, one component which was suppressed by the weight of water, because that pressure is reduced, is now coming up. And because it is coming up, it is again brushing past the second part of the plate, creating earthquakes. So through this, basically, they have linked climate change with earthquakes. This research has linked that. Because of climate change, Lake Turkana is drying up. And because Lake Turkana is drying up, well, there are earthquakes. Okay. So now what is important for us? Now you have understood this connection between climate change and earthquakes. Okay. That part is clear. Let's talk about Lake Turkana. What is this Lake Turkana? Where is it located and all that? Okay. So Lake Turkana of East Africa. So what was in the news? First, let's talk about this. So falling water levels in one of Africa's largest lakes, driven by changes in climate, led to rise in earthquakes, according to a new study. That study was published in Nature Scientific Reports and led by Syracuse University and University of Auckland. Now this is Lake Turkana. So as you can see, it lies in northern portion of Kenya, and its northernmost tip lies in Ethiopia also. Some part, very little part lies in Ethiopia, but it majorly lies in Kenya. Okay, and this is East Africa. Okay, now Lake Turkana is world's largest permanent desert lake, because this region is a desert, located in northern Kenya within East African Rift Valley. You remember Rift Valley, because the East African or the African plate is splitting from between. So the space that is created is filled up by water. Okay, this space that is created is East African Rift Valley, and within that Rift Valley, there are many lakes. Lake Turkana is one of them. Okay, a major tectonic zone where Africa is slowly splitting apart. Africa is splitting. Now, over the past 6,000 years, Lake Turkana has experienced a significant water level decline of 100 to 150 meters due to climate changes. Okay, lower lake levels reduce the pressure on the Earth's crust. Listen to this carefully, making it lighter, which allows the faults between the two sides of the plate, to move more easily and increase regional magma production. Reduced water weight on the crust during dry spells lowers the confining pressure, directly affecting fault movement. It can lead to earthquakes and also volcanic activity. Okay, so this is the reason. Now, what is the significance of this big research? Well, it links earthquakes with climate change. Earlier, it was thought that climate change has nothing to do with earthquakes. Climate change is all about what is happening in the atmosphere, and earthquake is all about what is happening inside the Earth, inside the Earth's lithosphere. But through this, we can create a link between that. So it is significant from that perspective. Then, if climate change can cause earthquakes in East Africa, it can cause earthquakes in other areas as well. So this is important for us to know, because only then we'll be prepared for these disasters. So it establishes the link. It predicts that it can occur in other areas. There is interconnectedness between climate change and earthquakes, and it prepares us in advance for disaster management. So this is the significance of this study. Clear? And that would be all. With that, we conclude today's session. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. And I'm sure it has added value to your preparation. But it will add more value if you're consistent and regular with this lecture series and you revise it from the notes provided by us. Please do not forget to revise. It's very important. And on that note, I'll be signing off with the promise of seeing you again with another set of news items. Thank you, everyone.